Alright, all you listeners to the madness and those who are ready for the new decade that's about to hit us, welcome back to Under the Radar. And apparently, according to the maestro and the giant oversized New Year's clock he has up right now, we technically made 365 days around the sun. But what sort of clock are you going by? I'm pretty sure tomorrow is the last day of the year. So we only made 364 days around the sun. Whatever. Before I get into some giant oversized argument with a giant oversized New Year clock above the very giant calendar we have here in Music Village headquarters, I think it's time for us, for the last time for 2019, to take out those left-handed scissors to cut out some very interesting newspaper clippings for another edition of Yesterday's News. And in our first Yesterday's News story, and in sad news for you radio broadcasting fans out there, especially at the show Imus in the Morning, legendary shock jock host Don Imus unfortunately died this past week at the age of 79 years old. And I, for one, heard this man in the morning for the past, 4 years when I was listening to him while I was in high school, and was fortunate enough to hear the last couple of bits of his show before one of his controversial comments got him suspended off the air for about, a year, I think? Either way, let's just say it had something to do with the women's basketball team, and a lot of people weren't happy about it. I'll just say that much. But besides his show getting suspended, he had his show on the air for well over 50 years. I didn't know it lasted that long, and the fact that I was able to listen to just a tiny slither of how funny this show was, but at the same time controversial, is pretty cool. And I know, Maestro, we said cool a lot for certain things around here, but there's no other proper way to describe the fact that this man has been doing this show since he was in his 20s, all the way up into his late 70s. And we here at Under the Radar would like to say, on behalf of Don Imus, may your work live on forever, and may you forever rest in peace. And in other news, and in sad news for you Charlie Brown Christmas specialists out there, and people who are just in love with Charlie Brown cartoons, I have some sad news for you, because the producer of the man who's produced well over 50 Peanuts TV specials, including the one known as a Charlie Brown Christmas, unfortunately died this week at the age of 86 years old. And for those who are wondering out there, the name of the man that we forgot to mention, Lee Mendelson, and hopefully we said that name right, was behind such great specials as a Charlie Brown Christmas, like we mentioned before, Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown, which is in my top 5 favorite of all time Charlie Brown specials, and alongside with it winning 12 Grammys, and one of them for his special for It's Your 50th Christmas, Charlie Brown. And I'm surprised they didn't mention the fact of the special he did for Race for Your Life, Charlie Brown, which featured Snoopy on a Harley Davidson riding around by the school bus, helping Charlie Brown get on for the whitewater raft race. That by far was one of my favorite ones. Mostly because of the guitar solo and thing that they did for Race for Your Life, Charlie Brown. And not to mention the fact that Charlie Brown almost got killed during that one. Yeah, nobody really pays attention to that, but he really almost got killed during it. Almost. And we here at Under the Radar would like to say, on behalf of Lee Mendelson, may your work live on forever, and may you forever rest in peace. And we almost forgot to mention, alongside with all of this, folks, he was the one who wrote the lyrics for the song Christmas Time Is Here. So whenever you think of that song when Christmas rolls around, thank that man. And in other news, and hopefully news to bring up the mood for you wrestling fans out there tonight, it looks like WWE 2K20 is still going on strong with content update, and now they've decided to come up with a Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome sort of DLC in the form of Wasteland Warriors. And the cool thing about this DLC, folks, if you ever remembered the classic Mad Max film, or even Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, or even, I guess, Mad Max Fury Road, that's what they've turned the WWE Universe into. Now, the only disappointing thing I could say about this is they didn't include a Thunderdome version of the Elimination Chamber. I would have loved to see that, or at least see, Hornswoggle and Braun Strowman as Master Blaster? There was a lot of missing opportunities here they went with, but one cool thing that they decided to go with that I can say they included is having Seth Rollins as the Wanderer, or the guy who was supposed to be Mad Max during the main story of it all, and not to mention, featured him with a springboard curb stomp that looks so disgusting, I can't properly describe it with words. And if you guys want to check out all of the cool stuff that they have featured for this tower, besides several different new story towers, along with several different arenas, championships, and also cool entrances to go along with them, you can head on over to the website only known as wwe.2k.com to check it out for yourselves. Or head on over to the live stream of there's so many I can't name, so we're going to throw a dart at the board and just tell you, head on over to the YouTube page of New Legacy Inc. to check out the hilariness and the silliness that they have for this Wasteland Wanderers pack. And with that said, folks, for this year wraps it up for another edition of Yesterday's News. And I guess with that, we might as well head back to this music, and when we return, we'll be back with more madness as Under the Radar continues right after this. So don't go anywhere just yet, folks, and stay tuned.